Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Beauty and the Beast. So, this was a really, really good episode of the Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. A lot of twists and turns I didn't see coming. The fact is that Vincent has to face his past a little bit, having to face his commanding officer, the one that basically killed his entire unit. Which at first I was kind of like, okay, I'll get to that in a second. But the fact is he has to face the guy that's like, oh, the guy I respected, he was part of, like, his whole unit was like a family to him. And his, Fuller was the person he trusted the most. But it's like, oh, no. Nope, now he has to face the guy that almost tried to kill him all those years ago, who successfully killed everyone else he knew. So it's like facing the person that betrayed him the most, the person he trusted the most who betrayed him. Plus, he might, on top of that, having to face him, also turning out you have to face him because he might be the person that's trying to kill you, which was just mind-blowing. That was kind of in itself, was like, that way we add, like, to me, because that would have made it interesting, because it's like, oh, we added like a little bit of a personal connection to it. It's not just some random person. It's like, no, there's like a connection between him and Vincent, at a very emotional connection. I mean, it's why Vincent didn't even know how to face him, because he didn't know how he'd react, because he's like, if I don't have you there, it's like I might beast out and end up losing my mind and end up killing him just because of everything. But then we got the huge twist. Like, everything was a freaking setup by Hill. I was like, what? The whole thing is a setup, because there's that whole thing with the DHS, Internal Affairs, asking all those questions, like, oh, Vincent, he's got PTSD, he's a risk, he could be a potential domestic terrorist. And I was like, wait, is this Hill's way of just covering up? It's like, oh, all these questions kept getting asked. Just like, no. Vincent's a terrorist, he's got PTSD, that's why we keeping an eye on it. So I was like, okay, that was his way of covering his ass, like being like, I'm tired of covering your asses, this is my way of covering my ass. I thought that was simply what it was. No, turns out that was just the beginning, because basically the whole thing was set up, the whole drive he used to get the information on Fuller being a killer. Nope, that was just a way to kill Vincent. Granted, luckily it didn't kill Vincent or Fuller. I mean, not in Hale's case, not lucky for him. But the whole thing was a setup, and then it started getting my brain thinking. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like, he's doing all this. I was like, oh wait, does that mean he's been the one trying to kill Vincent this whole time? It's like, then I was like, no. Maybe he's actually working for the people. Maybe the person who's after him actually is at the head of DHS, and he's just following orders. And it's like, or maybe the person who's actually trying to kill Vincent came back and is trying to, push him into doing this. It's just like so many theories flew through my head, and it was like, it turns out, no, none of that was true. He did all of this by himself because of the situation Kat and Vincent have put him in, where it's like, my family was in trouble. Like, I almost died. My family would have died after me too, because I was protecting you. And it's like, I wasn't about to go through that again, because that got me, like, it didn't get brought up this episode, but I mean, it was kind of alluded to, like the fact is, oh, he's the one that tried to kill Vincent. So the people that attacked him last episode, it makes me wonder, was that Hill, or was that just the person trying to kill Vincent anyway? And that was that's so much, like, I mean, we probably won't get the answers until next episode, but it's like, I'm so fascinated to find out. I get the feeling everything was just this episode. Hill finally made the decision, like, you know what, I'm gonna kill Vincent myself. Basically, what I'm trying to understand is, basically he wanted to make Vincent beast out, so that it's like, once he killed Vincent, he could prove, like, okay, I did this out of self-defense. Now, what I'm trying to understand is, was he trying to make it so it's like, okay, it's just like, oh, this deranged person who has PTSD attacked me, or was he trying to reveal, okay, Vince is a beast? I don't think he was, because then he'd have to bring up the fact that, oh, I was concealing this deadly weapon. It's like, because he looked at Vincent being like, oh, you're a threat to me and my family, you're actually just a threat in general. Like, you need to be taken out of the picture. He's like, it's not nothing against you personal, because the fact of the matter is, you didn't ask to be in this position. You were forced into this. You were tricked. You thought you were doing a thing, the right thing for your country, but sadly, you were being turned into a monster. You were an experiment. But he's like, but there will always be people after you, and I guess I just have to be the one that puts you down. But being the idiot he is, because it never crossed my mind. He's never really seen Vincent beast out. He's heard the reports. He knows, he's probably seen, like, maps of, like, Vincent's DNA showing, like, oh, this is what makes him different and stuff like that. But he never really experienced what Vincent's capable of, per se. I don't know. I think not even when he saw Vincent kind of save him. That wasn't like it's. I don't remember. Was he even beast? Did he even beast out fully? This is like his first time, and he was just shaking and scared. So, and Cat tried to get to him in time, sadly wasn't, and just killed. He ended up killing him. I was like, please, Vince. Okay. I was like, Cat, here you gonna calm down, and just snap his neck. I was like, shit. Which, like, it's not the first time Vincent's killed someone. I mean, he literally just killed Liam last season, so that was like granted, at the beginning of the season, that was like 2 months ago, but nevertheless, it's just a shame. It's like, I feel bad for the guy. On one side, I feel bad for him because it's like, okay, I get it. You were trying to remove the problem. Like, for one, it was going to cost him his job and his career. Like, he most likely probably would have went to jail for covering up something this big. Two, it nearly cost him his own life as well as the life of his wife and child. So, yeah, I get it on that part. But at the same time, it's like, dude, Vincent, they trusted you. They even went out of their way to save you, but I guess it's like in his mind, it's like, yeah, but I wouldn't have had to be in that position to be saved if it wasn't for you. And there's no telling what's going to happen next time. There's no guarantee that my family would be safe because I'll always be a target as long as you're still alive. So, I don't know. Because there was never a problem like this with the previous DHS agent. I mean, granted, he did get a raw end of the deal. He ended up getting tortured and killed. Granted, though, that doesn't mean, he wasn't in a position where he had to be like, he had we don't know. That never came up whether he actually has a family, but he kept a pretty tight lid on this, son. It does make you wonder, like, all this stuff about Beast and stuff like that, whoever it is that is after him, whether it's the killer or the person who simply has the bounty on him. It does make you, well, when I say bounty, I mean the person who just simply wants to capture him. But when you actually think about it, they have to have some kind of clout. What I mean is, like, amongst the government to be able to get access to federal information like that, to be able to track down, to even know where to look. They have to have some like pretty like powerful friends in the high places. It'd be kind of interesting to find out it isn't just sole people. Maybe like, because I brought it up before, like, what if it's actually government? It could easily be an organization like after him again. I don't know. Like, I just don't know where to go. There's still the whole Kyle situation. I can't help it. I will bring it up every time. I still don't trust that dude. I'm sorry. I feel so bad for, like, at the end of this movie, be like, oh yeah, he's actually a nice dude. He had no connection to all this. I just don't trust Kyle. Granted, each episode gets a little less, unless this is actually his first episode popping up again since him and Heather kind of started dating. He's still kept in the dark about things, but so this episode was just so good. Just like, it's like, what are they going to do now? Like, they were in this position. Everyone's looking at Vincent like a terrorist because DHS has his name. Now it's like, if Cat gets involved, because Tess brought it up, it's like, if you get involved, they're going to look at you as an accomplice to this. Like, all his crimes, him killing Hill, that's going to be on you too. But like, it's not just going to be Vincent on the run, it's going to be you on the run too. And it's just like, what would they do? How do you fix a situation like this? I guess really they'd have to try and prove that Hill set the whole thing up, but I don't know if that's something you can prove. He's pretty high up in the government, so I'm sure he's probably decently good at covering his tracks about, like, oh, I'm setting this whole thing up. The whole BS, like, folder he made for Vincent. Because I was so sure, I was like, okay, he's just doing that he's being a jerk, and he's just doing that to cover his ass. So I was like, okay. But I didn't know it was meant, it was to put them in a position where it's like, okay, now I can take care of Vincent. Like, I didn't know that whole thing was, like, that far of a setup. It's just like, that's why I was so, like, with a setup like that, I was like, okay, he's got to be working for the person trying to kill him. It's like, nope, he did it himself. And so that whole, I don't know, it's just sad, like, because Vincent wouldn't have killed him otherwise. It was like he was forced to be in that position. And what I liked was the fact that Kat brought it up, the fact that she's like, I have to help him because if I don't, I wasn't there to help him last time, which I can only assume it's her referencing season 1's finale. Basically, her dad kidnapping Vincent, erasing his memories and everything, and turning him into a weapon. I can only assume that's what she was referencing. Maybe there's something else, but that's the first thing that popped in my mind when she said that. So, very curious to see where they go. On the other side of the episode, we have Tess and JT. Still kind of in that awkward phase of just like, don't really know what, we are. Like, it's like they still obviously have feelings for each other, but there was that whole thing with JT and the person that was offering him a job, that very, very attractive lady, and then Tess had to literally sit there and listen to them talk back and forth, because it's like, JT was obviously doing it on purpose, like making sure the earpiece was still there so that Tess could overhear everything, mainly because, it was him being very mean, just kind of like, oh yeah, look at this lady, just, oh, we're having this conversation, ha ha ha, we're laughing, and Tess is like, come on, let's get out of here, and he's like, just admit it, you're jealous. She's like, yeah, seeing my ex-boyfriend, like, chatting up something, like, yeah, I still got feelings for you, but the fact of the matter, the situation still hasn't changed. You still haven't, like, the reason we broke up is because you still haven't found out, like, what you want to do. Like, have you made any headway with that? He didn't give her a response, because he hasn't. So it's like, what the hell do you want to do, JT? I suggested it a long time ago, a couple episodes back. Freaking work with Tess, dude. You're a tech dude. You could easily do good working with the cops. You could be like her, a consultant that she goes to from time to time when she needs someone to, get a little hacky and stuff like that. Granted, being hacky isn't very legal, so I doubt she could work that. But, he could help her, get leads and stuff like that. I thought like that. But then, granted, I guess it's a little hard working when you're sniffing another. But nevertheless, that was kind of interesting. Because that whole thing was like, oh, it's this whole job interview is just a setup. So I'm very interested to see, is it? JT's kind of like, oh no, it's just like, oh, how could you really think it's a setup? Maybe I am legitimately getting a job. I mean, it's a very odd time for you to be getting this job. So you got to give Tess credit for that. It is a very suspicious time. So granted, maybe it is. Maybe we'll end up finding out that the people that JT is being offered his job from are actually the ones after Vincent. You never know, because there's so many angles that people can come after Vincent through. Like I said, the whole Kyle situation with Heather, maybe this job. I don't know. I did find it interesting because I brought it up an episode 2 ago. The fact is that something similar like this would happen. A new person would come in somebody's life. I suggested like a new guy in Tessa's life, but no, it turns out to be a new girl in JT's life. I feel bad because I didn't even think about it. It's like, man, you're not showing JT any respect, are you? So I feel like a douche for doing that. So I do want him and Tess to get back together. It's like, you made a good match. I mean, granted, it started off as just kind of like, oh, you got drunk one night and just things happened, but it eventually grew into a relationship because you legitimately started to like and care for each other. So I don't know, like, I guess it's also because of just the equilibrium to it. I don't know why I use that particular word, but it's just like how, Vincent and Kat's best friends are actually hooking up, like, or together. So I thought that'd be kind of interesting. Maybe by the end of the series, they'll get back together and they'll end up being married. I feel like that might be one of the routes. I mean, granted, it might be a little too soon to be popping a question because you were moving in together, but then it's like, wait, now we're not moving in. I mean, that'd be a little weird, but I feel like it could easily go down that route. I don't know. All I'm saying is a very interesting episode. We did meet those two DHS internal affair people, those two agents this episode. That particular agent, the one she had the gun pointed to, who kind of let her go. I don't know whether he actually believes her or was that something else entirely. Was it just because she had a gun on him, or is it because on some level he believed her? So maybe he could be an ally in this. I don't know. Because they literally have no more allies. Like DHS, like Hill was like the last one that was on their side that they had. So it's like they have no more allies in this. They only have each other. Which granted, I kind of skipped over it, but the whole beginning part about them living together, I really thought that was kind of nice. And just like, Tessa's like, oh, wearing JT's shirt, and he's like, and Vince is like, no, that's not JT's shirt, that's actually my shirt, he's just wearing it all the time, and Tessa's like, this is just weird, something to kind of get adjusted to, but just like, now this new situation is like, what will Vince do? Like, they haven't got his face, but it's only going to be sooner or later when they tie this all back to him, specifically because Internal Affairs, DHS Internal Affairs is looking into it, so eventually his name is going to be tied back into this. Fuller isn't dead, so maybe he'd be like, oh no, it was just some technical issues here. Like, because what I really liked about it is finding out the fact is, he's a soldier. He's like, I did what I was ordered to, and I killed everyone, but I didn't kill you. And he's like, I didn't do it on purpose. It's like, Vincent kind of looked back. It's one of those things, like, it's such a traumatic thing happened in front of him. He kind of remembered it very differently because Fuller actually changed. Like, he was about to shoot Vincent, but he turned the gun towards that guy and walking nearby and let Vincent get away. So I don't know, like, he's like, because at any point in time over this 12 years, that was a question, why would Fuller come after him now? He's had 12 years to come after Vincent, especially because, like, Vincent outed himself, what was it, like, It wasn't last season, was it? It was like season 2. Vincent outed himself. It's like, yeah, Vincent Keller is still alive. I don't remember what season that was. He brought him, because that's how he ended up getting his job back at the hospital. Because like his old mentor is like, oh, Keller, you're still alive. Your old job is here waiting for you. So, side note too, I'm cute. It's something I brought up before. What about his ex significant other? Is that a storyline that's never going to come out? Like I said, last time we saw her was she was getting on a bus leaving town, and one of the people connected to I forgot what it was. Like, whoever they were dealing with at the time had someone on a bus following her. So I don't know whether she's dead or what. Maybe that's something that popped up and I just don't remember it. Maybe it's silly. Because it does happen from time to time. Maybe I missed that particular episode that dealt with that. Because it does happen sometimes. I watch a show and be like, wait a minute, I don't remember this episode. I was like, I remember everything else except for this. This happens to be the one episode I miraculously ended up skipping. No, maybe it's a situation like that. I don't know why, I just want closure on that storyline. Maybe that's as far as we'll get for closure on that storyline, because I don't think she's ever been referenced any other time. That was like the last time she was brought up. Nevertheless, just so many questions. Like, I hope that Fuller is able to just be like, no, it's a technical issue. No one actually bombed here. Because we have that news reporter getting way too freaking close, getting close to hell, and now she's asking all these questions to Catherine and Vincent. It's just, she's going to be an issue that they're going to have to deal with. They're going to have to try and avoid her because she's hot on the trail with them. So, very, very interested to see where we go in the next episode. Like, where this is heading. They're fugitives. Like, how are they going to clip Vincent's name? I mean, granted, he did kill the guy. So, I mean, Kat's been clear to a certain degree because it's like, there's no way she could have, done all that, freed Vincent as well as killed Hale and all that time. So, but still, they're keeping their eye on her. So, but that's really all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.